Our next presenter will be presenting Dara AI Docs, and our presenter, or our next product, our next presenter is Hunter. Dara AI Docs indexes, classifies, and extracts data from mortgage loan documents. Then, using the data from those documents, including stamps and signatures, it applies mortgage-specific AI to boost efficiency, accuracy, and compliance in use cases across the loan cycle. Hunter, please take us through Dara AI Docs.
Thank you, Zeb, and appreciate the time today with HousingWire, with everyone on the call. So Dara AI Docs, as Zeb was mentioning, is really a revolutionary tool that Sagent is rolling out and has been available in the servicing space for quite a while. And we're very excited today to kind of walk you through a demo of it and talk through some of the use cases. As Zeb mentioned, so it's really pre-trained for mortgage servicing, and it really pulls data from documents and then uses it in some of the key servicing capabilities, right? And we'll go through some of those use cases here in a moment. So if we jump down to some of the core capabilities, and again, this has been around for several years. We've processed over 2.5 billion documents, and that's at about a 95% accuracy. And we already have pre-trained over 320 mortgage documents today. And that includes 1,000 mortgage-specific data points. And it's a machine learning platform. This is a really good partnership that we have with Google Cloud AI, and we can do over 3,000 pages per minute. Okay, let's talk about a few of the use cases. One is around invoice matching. So as we look at some of the use cases in mortgage servicing, we try to be very focused on pain points for the industry. So if we look at invoice matching for claims, this is a really good invoice. So a really good use case. So what you typically see is you have a ledger of all the ledgers of all the claims that need to be filed with HUD, and then you've got a bunch of documents. And typically in today's world, what you see is multiple screens, and you see a user, right, looking at ledger documents, trying to manually match it with claims. And using our technology, the system can match those claims in real time, push back the exceptions to the user, and then provide that proof for documentation. So that's one use case around claims. Another is just around due diligence for portfolios. So a good example would be for loan bidding, right? So again, what we see today is there is a lot of opportunities when customers are bringing portfolios onto the platform, or even just doing due diligence, where they can only do a spot check, right? So maybe they're looking at a sampling of a few hundred loans out of the tens of thousands that they may be bringing on. We have the ability to take those, the core loan data, compare them to documents, extract data from those documents, and then pull out extractions. So that's another use case that we're going to show here in a minute. And then we've got income calculation for wage earners. So as everyone's familiar on the servicing space with loss mitigation, as servicers are sort of walking the borrowers through the process, there's always a part in the beginning where for certain types of investors, you need to upload pay stubs, bank statements, et cetera. The typical process today involves getting those things, uploading them, and then days or weeks later having the servicer look at them. Using Dara AI Docs, we can pull that right up to the beginning of the process. We can classify and extract data directly from those documents and then tell the borrower, hey, that pay stub is too old. The bank statement, right? We need the most current one. Maybe we need it within the next 30 days, et cetera. So using Dara AI Docs, we're able to sort of use all these use cases. As Zeb mentioned in the beginning, We do have some patented technology around stamp and signature detection. So we'll show that here in a minute. Right. One of the things that we see is servicers have very robust imaging systems that have many different versions of, let's say, a mortgage note or an application, et cetera. So using our stamp detection and signature detection, we could go in and look for these final stamps to be able to determine this is the final document. So instead of having a user have to look through, 6, 7 different versions of a note, maybe 5 of them are drafts, we can identify which ones are the final. Okay. Same with signatures. And here's an example, and we'll kind of show this in the demo here in a minute. So one of the things that Dara Docs can do is, as we go and look at documents, we can pull out this data from a classification and extraction perspective and be able to compare that to what's in the system of record. So here's a good example where you've got a PI loan on the left versus a PITI. So this is a great way to be able to audit the documents in your platform to make sure that they align with the core servicing data that you may have. Okay, let's jump into the demo. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. So in our scenario, we've got, I am a QA analyst, let's say at a loan servicer. We're pulling in, 4,000 or 5,000 loans a month. One of the challenges I have today is I'm unable to look at all of those loans to figure out if I have really good data. So I am spot checking. Maybe I'm looking at a few dozen. I've got a team of 6 or 7 folks. And that's a way that we can at least get some indication of what loan quality is. With Dara Docs, you can look through all of the loans and compare that to the data that you may have. So in my example, we've run an audit here. There's 1,200 loans that we ran. You can see that there's about almost 4,000 documents that we looked at using our AI technology. And you can see here that we've classified them by type. So 187 bank statements, 371 pay stubs, et cetera. You can see how many fields we pulled out of that document and audited against the core data that we have. And then you can see the accuracy percent. If I look down here, I can see again the types of documents broken down, and then I can see the exceptions that I need to go look at. So if I click on, let's say, our mortgage note, you can see the list of exceptions that we have. We can assign them to folks on the team to go look at, right? So now this is not a spot checking exercise. This is an exception process exercise where we can go audit 100% of those portfolios that we're looking to onboard. So let's say I click on this first one. You can see on the left, I've got the document values that I pulled off this document to the right, and I'm comparing that to the system values that maybe we received from the servicer selling these things. I can see down here, I've got a couple exceptions. So the first one, the system information we got said Bacon Street. I can see in my document highlighted over here, it says Baker Street. So I'm able to cure that exception very quickly using the interface. And I'll do the same thing for interest rate. Okay, so now all my QC analysts can go through and actually see the data on the document, compare it to what they're sending us from a system of record perspective. If I click on the third page, I can see my stamp detection here. So again, I have the ability to determine that this is actually the final doc that we want to be looking at. And I can go back and click on the versions, and you can see that I've got 2 other versions of the mortgage note here. So if I clicked on the second version, you can see this is a draft. It doesn't have the final stamps or signatures on it. Okay, so this really has improved, as a QC analyst, this has really improved our process. It allows us to, like I said, turn this into an exception process. It's really helped. And so we're excited to offer this capability to the market. As I said, we've got customers using this. We've run over 2.8 billion documents through the application today. We extract over 1,000 data points, 3,000 pages a minute. So we're excited to talk to anyone who's interested in this, and we look forward to having those conversations.
Hunter, thank you for taking us through Dara AI Docs. Let's jump into a few questions. The first question I have for you is, what happens if the AI model doesn't recognize certain documents that are sent in?
Good question. Good question. So a couple things. One, right, we've been doing this for a number of years, so we've got very good coverage of mortgage servicing docs. But to your question, if there is a new format that comes in that maybe we don't understand, we're able to take that, identify it as an exception, load it back into the model, and within a number of days, that document is now back in the library and available to customers to use. And the nice thing is, the more docs that we get of that version, the better and better the model gets over time, right? So it's a really sort of automated way using the machine learning to always make the system better as new docs are added over time.
Interesting. So the system gets smarter the more that you use it.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about implementation. How long does implementation take to utilize these capabilities?
Yeah, so we can, it kind of depends on what servicers are looking for. So our simplest, right, if you just want to classify like big blobs of documents and extract data from them, that's could be stood up in a number of weeks, right? That's very simple. Generally, how that works is customers have big, amounts of documents coming from their imaging system, or maybe they have it on a shared drive somewhere, and they have users today manually looking at those things, transposing data off those docs into some other system. We could turn that up very quickly. For other capabilities like the claims matching process we talked about a little bit earlier, that may take a little bit longer because there may be some integrations, right, to third-party imaging systems and other systems to get ledger information, et cetera. So I think that the short answer is between a number of weeks and perhaps a couple months, depending on the complexity of what the customer wants, et cetera.
And how long, when you're looking at this technology, I know that everybody is looking at what works with their current tech stack, right? So with this technology specifically, does it work with any core system, or would you have to be using Sagent servicing platforms?
No, so we're system of record agnostic. So we have some customers who send us data from systems, lots of systems that aren't Sagent systems, and that's really where we're going more with our AI capabilities. Is if you have LoanServe or LSAMs or any of our other core systems, we're obviously integrated with those. But any other systems, it's very easy for us to pull data out of those systems, and that includes both system of record data as well as imaging systems. So we're agnostic to system of record and imaging systems, which has really helped us, just from a growth perspective.
And I'm going to squeeze in one last question, Hunter.
Okay.
Where else do you see AI being utilized in the mortgage servicing process?
Yeah, good question. I mean, there is a ton, at least from my point of view, right? A ton of opportunities in mortgage servicing. I'll tell you one that we're looking at right now, and that's the QC process, really throughout the entire servicing. Let's take loss commit as an example, right? Today, what we see is when customers are generating things like loan modification documents, most servicers are going and comparing those documents to multiple systems. And sometimes there's 2 or 3 levels of reviews, meaning humans looking at these things. That's a really easy place to insert technologies like AI to make it more accurate, provide a clear audit trail, et cetera. So there's dozens of opportunities that we're really looking forward to exploring.
It's exciting to hear that people are looking towards the future and what innovative steps are next. Hunter, thank you so much for taking us through Dara AI Docs.